We are on the air. Pops, what time is it?
It's Chomp time.
It is Chomp time indeed. I am Mike. That is Pops. This is the Chomp Time podcast. I believe this is episode 19, Pops.
Time flies.
It's episode 19, which I have dubbed Anything Goes.
Right.
Do you know why I've called it Anything Goes, Pops?
Because you got nothing prepared.
I have zero prepared for this episode. There's only one person I would like to address directly, which I will do at the end in my Get Over Yourself segment.
Okay.
But nothing prepared. So
hold on one second, would you? Oh. That was an imitation of a Bears defender. Watching the ball go over his head.
Oh, the Bears with a big loss yesterday. Wow. So did you watch that? Was that game on down by you?
It was. It was the game of the week at 4:00 or 4:30, whatever it was. And the funny thing was, I'm watching this game thinking, we don't deserve to win this game if we do win this game. And then, of course, in the fourth quarter, things come alive. Williams finds out that he can play quarterback and drives down. We score a touchdown. They did everything right. They got 28 seconds to go. I mean, 28 seconds to go. We're up. They can kick a field goal. Okay, they can kick a field goal to tie it. But they have no timeouts, nothing. I mean, it's like everything possibly they could go wrong that they did wrong went wrong. I mean, the second to last pass, the defenders were down 40 yards. They're not throwing the ball like that. So they got a 15 out. Nobody touched him. The guy goes out of bounds. Now he's got a 50-yard pass. And then the most egregious thing you could possibly do if you're a defender, as the ball is hiked, the defensive back is taunting the fans as he's going down the road. I mean, what are you doing? Did you see that highlight? He's taunting the fans, and then he turns around and sees the ball's thrown, and he tries to hustle back into the pile. Oh, my God.
I did not see that. I did see on their second to last possession at the 1 yard line, they tried a fullback handoff to the backup center, who promptly fumbled the ball. I thought that was the worst call in Bears history. They somehow got the ball back because the Washington coach didn't think they could get 3 inches. So they punted it back, drove down, score. Now, I believe the second to last pass, they passed the ball and it stopped the clock.
Yeah.
So that allowed the 23 seconds.
Yeah.
Because they did a traditional, I'm guessing they handed it off to a running back this time and got into the end zone. And then, the play before the Hail Mary, they just handed them 15 yards. They didn't cover any receiver 20 yards from the line of scrimmage. So Terry McLaurin, their best receiver, just does a 15-yard out, which takes 3 seconds. They throw him the ball. Nobody's around him. He gets out of bounds. I'm like, okay, well, now we can reach the end zone. So that was interesting. The NFL never disappoints, Pops.
Sundays are just, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, every game pretty much went down to the wire, and it was like unbelievable games. From the Dallas, San Francisco. I turned the game on to see what the score was, and San Fran was way up. I thought, I don't have to watch this game. And then I go back to see what the score was, and here's Dallas. They got a chance to win the game. What the hell is going on here?
Well, I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah.
Dallas's best player, CeeDee Lamb, they decided not to cover him twice. The guy had he had 2 wide open touchdowns.
Yeah.
One of them was a couple of defenders ran into each other. Yeah. I guess that happens from time to time. The other one was half the defense was playing man-to-man, and CD ran across the field, and that was playing man-to-man. His side was playing zone, and all the guys on his side went to the other side. So twice, he had nobody within 15 yards of him, their best player. So CD had a big game. Dak obviously found him. But I like seeing the Cowboys lose. I'm a big fan of that.
And then I was a big fan of the Jets losing to Cleveland, was it?
No, the Ravens lost to the
Oh,
to
the
the
Ravens lost to Cleveland.
Browns.
Uh,
The
yeah,
Jets lost
New
at
England.
New England. Yeah,
Yeah. New England's got nothing. They got
nothing, nothing, nothing. So you were saying something about your lawnmower. This is interesting stuff. I'm sure. I can't wait to hear this story. What do you got?
So I got a Ryobi 40 volt, battery operated lawnmower. It's been working perfect for 3 years. And all of a sudden, boom, the other day I'm cutting my grass and the self propelled goes out. Okay. I'm old. I need the self propelled to get around, okay? So it breaks. So I call the service the 800 number and they say, yeah, here's the service centers near you. And I've used different products from Ryobi. I got a lot of Ryobi products and they fix it and then it's all good. Everything breaks, okay? So like she goes, well, here's the problem. This one doesn't take gas, doesn't take electric. This one doesn't do lawnmowers. She goes, the closest one I can find for you is 95 miles away, and it'll be like an hour and 40 minutes for you. It's in Lakeland, Florida. I said, I'm not driving an hour and 40 minutes. It's
No.
probably more like 2 hours one
Yeah.
way to drop off a lawnmower. She goes, okay, well, I'll tell you what. She goes, we'll ship it. It's under warranty. We'll ship it. We'll send you the FedEx label, and then you just put it in the box, take it to a FedEx place. I got a FedEx place here where I live,
Yeah.
so no problem. I've spent all morning trying to find a box. I cannot find a box to ship this damn thing. Everybody says it's too big. I said I fold it down. But it's 40 inches long. Wait, nothing. I even called U-Haul. I said, U-Haul, you got a box? No, you don't have a box that big. I said, okay. So now I'm back on the phone with Ryobi trying to figure out what we're gonna do. I'm not driving 2 hours.
Doesn't isn't the company Uline? Don't they ship shipping products? Uline.
Yeah, but that box would cost me like $80. I'm not spending $80 on a box. No,
It's a, you found yourself an interesting situation there,
I'm
buddy.
between a rock and a hard spot, my friend. But back to
So
foot. But back to football.
back to football. Um,
The
the
college
Seminoles
football.
suck. How
The
about the
college
Seminoles?
what? Huh?
Yeah, the Seminoles.
Oh well. I listened. I wanted to feel better about myself after the Bears game, so I listened to this guy's Norvell's post game.
Oh,
My God, I thought somebody died. I really thought somebody died listening to this guy. I mean, he knows the writing's on the wall. I guess they got North Carolina this week. They're not eligible for a bowl. Now they're 1-7. I mean, they hit a loss, a couple of commitments already now.
yeah,
Which reminds me, if things don't get from bad to worse for us, okay, being a Gator fan, um, Texas A&M beating LSU. They had three teammates. They're all 4 stars that from Georgia. They all committed after the LSU game to Texas A&M, and then Texas A&M picked up another 4 star guy. So on Saturday they picked up four-star guys.
yeah.
Unbelievable, unbelievable.
Elko's got that program moving.
And
They they
it's his first year, right?
it's his first year at
Okay, just
A&M.
want to make sure.
Yeah, his first year at A&M. Now, they're one of those schools that has a ton of resources like Texas, even more so than the average huge big school like Florida or Penn State or Ohio State.
Yeah,
Their resources at A&M are just, they're limitless. But he's he's a coach. This man can coach. He lost a bunch of five-star guys
they
through the
they
portal,
they went to the portal. Yeah,
and he's got them playing like superstars. They blew out LSU. Their only loss was his first game at home to Notre Dame. And Notre Dame is now proving, even though they somehow lost to Northern Illinois, Notre Dame is blowing people out of the water. Notre
yeah.
Dame blew out Navy, was it? Navy?
No, Navy. You're right. Yeah, 51-14.
So, yeah, the Aggies, Mr. Elko has got some positive vibes going on in where's A&M again? That's in
In Aggie land.
Aggie, it's in Aggieland. My brain is not finding, but yeah, and It's all about recruiting. I cannot say enough about it. It's all about recruiting. If you recruit at a high level, the higher level you recruit at, the less you have to be a good coach, which is where we're at with Billy Napier, because he needs experience. It almost looks like he, in his third year at Florida, after 4 years at Louisiana, after 10 to 15 years as his assistant coach, it almost looks like he's in his first year himself, and he's still got training wheels on, and it's almost too big of a situation for him. And we stand right now at number 50 in the country in recruiting.
Yeah.
Number 50.
And it's going to get worse as we go through this murderers row thing. I just
We
have a
will see.
bad feeling.
We
Let's
will
let's
see.
let's kind of talk about where we are in the state of college football after Saturday's game. Oregon, to me, is still the class act of college football right now. I don't see anybody in the Big Ten beating them. I don't think Ohio State has enough. They already lost to them. I'm sorry. I don't think that anybody else could stand up to Oregon. I think Oregon's going to go undefeated. Georgia's number two. They got a loss, but they're hungry, so they should be able to get themselves in the SEC championship game. I would believe. I looked at the rest of their schedule. You got Penn State. They had a tough game Saturday. They're a formidable foe. They play hard. Good coach.
Yeah.
Good coach. There are three. Ohio State four. Miami. Miami just seems to outscore people. I mean, it's the common thing where they don't play any defense. They just outscore people. That's just who they are. Then you got Texas, Tennessee, Notre Dame, BYU, Texas A&M, Iowa State. They're undefeated. Clemson, Indy, and Bama. Indy had a nice victory against Washington. They're 8-0, which is kind of nice for your residents right there. Indy must be going crazy with this team.
They are. They are going crazy.
They got their next three games are Michigan State, Michigan, and Ohio State. So
the fanfare around Bloomington for that game, starting on maybe Thursday,
yeah,
through the weekend, was through the roof. I mean, Lee Corso was there, Kyle Schwarber was there, dressed for ESPN College Game Day in all Indiana gear, from a baseball helmet to a football jersey to
yeah,
the basketball candy striped pants, warm up pants. So yeah, he's doing some things. Kurt Signetti, another guy in his first year. The guy in Oregon, Dan Lanning,
yeah.
that's either his second or third year in Oregon.
He's been there a couple of years, I think. Yeah, yeah.
Because I think Cristobal went to Miami, and he went from Oregon. So, yes, Cristobal's in his third year. He's got them rocking. Dan Lanning's in his third year. He's got them rocking. And Billy Napier is in his third year, and our program is teetering on the verge of falling off a cliff. Now, we have Mr. Lagway, who I've read in a bunch of places, keeps telling his teammates, I want to get Florida back to where they were. That's why I came here.
Yeah.
Every time I hear little snippets of what he says, what he does, I love this kid.
Well,
And
yeah.
This is it. Now, we have been against the two quarterback system the entire year since they've been doing it. And
Let's refine that. We're not against it. It's just the way it was, the way that he did it.
Right.
Could have had Lagway come in for a couple of plays, signature plays, and do that. This whole series thing was ridiculous.
Well, right. If you're doing situational like Leak and Tebow, and it's not scripted, it's like a third and one. Hey, let's put Tebow in here. If it's situational, yes, that's fine. And college football teams have done that for decades and successfully as well.
Yes.
But nobody has ever just no matter what the situation is, no matter where the ball is, what the score is, where the game is, you're going to play the first series, you're going to play the second series, and we're just going to rotate. You're going to play the first two series, you're going to play the third series, no matter what. Nobody's there. Now, what I'm saying is somehow that might have actually worked accidentally. I don't want to praise Philly, but accidentally because he did get a a bunch of playing time under his belt in his first year. So he has got the entire game to him against what is probably the number one team in the nation, Georgia. I think they would beat Oregon. They only lost by 1 or 2 points at Alabama. Georgia's only loss.
But we've also seen that Alabama's not as good as Alabama's been in the past. I agree with you. Georgia's one of the top teams in the country.
Yeah.
I just think Oregon reminds me a lot of Georgia in the fact that they have speed, and more speed. They're a well-rounded offensive and defensive team. I just think it'd be a great championship game at this point right now. Who knows what's going to happen? The thing we always say pretty much every week is, we've said a couple of times, this is a must win. This is a must win. That's a must win. This is not a must win. What this is the game this Saturday will determine where this program's going. That's all I'm going to say. It'll determine where the program is going to go. Because if we can keep it close, all right, if we can keep it close, we're in the right spot. If we get blown out, then next week we got Texas. It's not going to get any easier.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying that this is the game that will determine our future as the Gators right now, going forward.
So 2 things about what you just said. Let me close the door on us talking about Oregon.
Yeah.
I think as long as Phil Knight and the Nike empire keeps pumping millions and millions and millions of dollars every single year into the University of Oregon, in conjunction with them transitioning to the Big Ten, that program, and throw in Dan Lanning, who apparently knows what he's doing, that program is going to be one that you have to deal with for the next 20 to 30 years with those things that I'm at least for the next 10 years. They're going to be, they get recruits from all over the country.
Yeah.
Every single year because of their facilities, because of their brand being, they don't have a brand. They have a million different.
They got 50 uniforms, for God's sake.
A million different uniform, combinations, from helmets to shirts to pants to wristbands. So, yeah, they're going to be somebody you have to contend with for the time being,
right?
For the immediate future and probably into the future. As far as
Georgia,
the Georgia game, yes, it's not only going to matter what the final score is, who wins or who loses, but how that game is played.
Right.
I continue to be surprised by how hard this team plays. So it does speak to Napier in the kind of guys he does recruit, the kind of guys that continue to fight no matter what negative noise is going on around the program, no matter who we're playing, where we're playing, what our record is, at least this year. The previous 2 years, I cannot say that because the previous 2 years, our team, just stopped playing after like week 5 or 6, at least at a very high level. This year, they continue to play very hard for whatever reason it is. We probably have some big time leaders on that team, like Shamar James, like even our transfer receivers, Badger and DK, are older players. We have some older offensive linemen on the team. We do have some guys, Jason Marshall, who's been with the team for 4 years, Devin Moore 3 years. So there must be some pretty good leadership. But yes, if we do get blown out, I don't want to get blown out, but if we do get blown out, I just don't know how much longer these guys have. I love the fact that they are playing their hearts out, no matter the situation.
The difference is, I know what you're saying, but the difference is Does Georgia have better players than we do? Yes. Does Texas A&M have better players than we do? Yes. I mean, by rankings alone, they have better players. Do we have a complete team where everybody is on the same page? We don't have any problems. These guys, like you said, fight, give everything they
It
have.
looks like it.
The
It looks like
problem
it.
that we have is we got a we got an offensive coordinator who does not put us in the right positions game
Yes.
after game after game. And that's the head coach. He puts us in bad situations. We run the same damn, vanilla plays.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched games all Saturday, like I said, Sunday all day. There's
Do you have
some
any
great,
scotch there? Do
no
you have any
scotch,
scotch on hand?
just water, just water.
All right.
But I will tell you, there's some there was a game I watched. There was 2 trick plays within the first quarter. I'm saying to myself, what the hell's going on here? Why can't we do something a little bit off the norm? And that's the
Right.
problem.
And not even to score points with the trick play per se, but to give teams other things to look at. We do nothing different. One thing you said that reminded me of going back to the Hoosiers. The
Yeah,
Hoosiers do not have any 5 stars on their squad.
none.
They have very few 4 stars on their squad. So the Kurt Signetti Indiana Hoosiers in his first year kind of go against almost everything I believe in when it comes to college football and recruiting. He makes me believe, Signetti, that you can win with 2 and 3 star guys if you are an elite coach and scheme and breaking down film and teaching your players not in game, but I believe Signetti must have it all. He must have scheme down. He must have him and his coaching staff must coach up these guys, 2 and 3 star guys, to be 4 and 5 star games before the game. And then he must also have the in-game adjustments, the
Yeah,
in-game instincts
yeah,
of what to call when, who to give the ball to and when to attack and when not to attack, when to be conservative, when to be risky, when to call crazy plays and not. I think he must have it all. The one thing that the Gators seem to be lacking, at least in the last 3 years, I keep hearing that Napier's an elite recruiter. He's not an elite recruiter. He got DJ Lagway. That was a big get. But he didn't get 8 or 9 other guys in his 4 classes. He got good guys in his classes.
yeah,
So I would say he's a good recruiter, especially in spite of the fact of how bad of a game coach he is and how bad his teams look at the end of the year. I'm shocked that he does get some of the guys he gets. So yeah, okay, he's a good recruiter. But yeah, he's missing the entire. I don't know what he does with his game, with his team in practice, with his players in practice. It doesn't appear that his positional coaches are all that great. But we do know in game, his decisions are atrocious. His game plans are atrocious.
yeah, yeah,
His
yeah, yeah.
so
Well,
I just don't think
this
you can.
is
I don't think you can just switch it on or off. Now, prove me wrong. I will once again be begging for Billy to prove me wrong,
yeah,
because if we somehow win this game against Georgia. And yes, they are one of the biggest teams, the best teams in the country on paper. They have a very good coach, an elite recruiter. He
yeah.
must be awfully good at in game because he won 2 in a row and he should have been in the playoffs for the 3rd year. So if he somehow wins this game, Billy Napier and the Gators, that would be one of the biggest turning points in the history of this program from where we are currently
I,
in,
I
in
I would agree 100%. I would agree 100. This is DJ's game. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's his game right now, and I'm sure for the last week and a half and all of this week, they're looking at nothing but Georgia film. That's all they're doing is looking at Georgia film. It's it's you can look at film all you want. The problem is you need to come up with a plan that's not vanilla. You cannot play a team like Georgia with a vanilla plan because it's not going to work. I mean, this we're going to go into the middle and then we're going to do a flanker screen and then we're going
right.
to. I mean, please. I mean, we got to have some kind of
Well,
plan.
listen, we shall
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
And
More talk about that on Thursday for.
yeah, we'll talk about that on Thursday, and then we'll release that episode on Friday. So on Friday, the Friday episode is going to be a complete breakdown of the Georgia game,
Yeah,
and what we
yeah.
think needs to be done, what we think is going to happen, all that good stuff. One little thing I want to address
Oh
here
boy.
before the end of this episode
Yeah.
is a segment I have in my other podcast, the Mad Valid Mike podcast, which is coming out in December, season 2. I might have a new name for the podcast as a whole, the blah 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 podcast, maybe just the blah 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 podcast with Mad Valid Mike. But a segment I used to do is called Get Over Yourself, where I just basically rip on celebrities that are just, they've become too big for their britches. Not
Yeah.
the way they look, it's just their attitude towards things, how
Yeah.
hypocritical they are. This is one I read about yesterday, and I'm not even sure when she gave this interview, but this is about United States women's team star Alex Morgan, the soccer team, the
Yeah. Yeah.
women's
Yeah.
national
Yeah.
team. Alex Morgan has
Yeah.
been a star for the women's soccer team for years.
Yeah.
And she was at a Sports Illustrated swimsuit shoot. And she was talking, Pops, and I read this article about her direct quote of, "We need to get more equality in women's soccer." Alex Morgan, I don't even know where to begin. We have relatives. We want to keep them out of this, the public line. Not that we have
Yeah.
millions
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
followers.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
will at some point.
Yeah.
We have relatives that have played soccer, women's soccer in the past. We have relatives that play women's soccer now, and
Yeah.
we have relatives that'll play women's soccer in the future.
Yeah.
Alex Morgan is begging still for more equality in women's soccer. We have a dog in the fight. We want women's soccer to be popular, me and you, and our family members. But it's still two things. One, it's business 101.
Right.
If she was talking about pay, it's business 101.
Right.
What kind of revenue are you bringing to the sport? What kind of eyeballs, how many millions of eyeballs are you bringing to the sport? Which brings more endorsements, which brings more money, which brings more of a share for you all to have. That's number one. Number two, are you talking about, Dad, she is a advocate for transgender
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want to
No.
get too crazy. I don't want to get too
Transgender kids playing in the sport, not just transgender kids. Transgender kids playing as all of a sudden identify as the female, so they want to play in female
Yes.
sports.
Human beings born as men playing in women's sports. She is
Correct.
an advocate for.
Right.
How is that equality for women? Tell me.
They talk out of both sides of their mouth.
Listen, this is a very hot topic in politics right now, and that's fine. But I actually have people close to me that this affects. And maybe I should care about this with this much passion, even if I didn't have people close to me that it affects, because there are women's health and mental health and physical health at risk with this kind of movement. Men are born with different muscles. Get over it.
I think to sum up what you're saying,
So get over yourself, Alex Morgan.
in the big picture, okay? The WNBA, which nobody even knew, pretty much a normal person when you said WNBA, what the hell is that? It was been just frolicking around for the last decade,
losing money every year.
Nobody's watching it. You know, it's a joke. Everybody makes jokes about it. Okay, so you got this superstar, from Iowa,
Yeah.
And she
Caitlin Clark.
decides, oh, I'm going to make a difference.
Yeah.
She completely herself turned the entire WNBA on its head and said, here we go. All-time ratings they
Yeah.
never even dreamed of.
Yes.
Capacity seating to
Yeah.
see a women's basketball game.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Do you want to change the sport? Get your superstar and have her
Right.
promote the damn sport like Smith is. She's phenomenal. I mean, she is everything you could possibly want in a person to promote the sport. She says the right things. She means the right
Yeah.
things. She doesn't badmouth anybody. There's been conflicts when she was playing in Iowa,
Yeah.
between a couple of players.
Yeah.
She never said anything ill about them. She goes, she has the right to do that because she won. She did everything right. And then all of a sudden she goes to the WNBA. It skyrockets. It skyrockets in every
Yes.
possible way. You want soccer the same way? Do it the same way.
Well, yes, and no. We will see. I'm not even. The WNBA has lost money for years and years and years and
Yes.
years. They are financed by the NBA, yet
Yes.
they still complain about what they make. Okay, but then Caitlin Clark comes in, and you got people like Angel Reese saying it's not just her. Yeah. Right now it is just her that's
She
raising all.
made the difference.
Yeah, and so it's we'll see what happens with the WNBA going forward. But again, their pay they should not be. They're not going to get paid the same. It's business
Well,
101.
they're going to get paid a lot more now because now they
They
have a
should.
national contract.
Well, we'll see. We'll
They had,
see if
no,
that
they did
translates.
they did sign a new contract with ESPN, so they're gonna have some games on obviously every week. But I mean, it started this year, and I think I called her Smith, but it is Clark. She made the difference,
Yeah.
and then they surrounded her with other players, Angel and everybody else. They've been playing. They've been these stars. There's some real stars playing. I watched a few games. There's some real stars that.
Yeah, there is good for them, but
Yeah.
but my whole point is just it, it's when you're talking about equality money wise, it's business 101. You bring in
Right.
more eyeballs, you bring in more advertisements, you're going to get paid like that. You're not getting not paid because you're women. It doesn't matter what gender you are, it doesn't matter what sexuality you are. If you're bringing in revenue, you're going to get paid. So yes, let's see what Caitlin Clark does with Alex Morgan. They've had some stars on the national team, but they're still not bringing in the revenue. It's not like they're bringing
Right.
in this huge amount of revenue, and the sponsors are like, no, they're women. We're not going to pay them as much.
In sports, it's all about money.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all
all
about
about
money.
money. And then the other thing is, you're advocating for equality for women's sports, but you want men, biological men, to play in these women's sports. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Anyway,
We're
so
all over the board today, buddy.
we were all over the board today. Did we
Lawnmowers,
lose?
everything.
Did we lose any of our 30 followers today because of what we just said with our politics? Maybe. Did we gain 1 million because what we just said and people will agree with us? Who knows? Election season is here. Anything
Get
goes.
out
This
and
was
vote.
episode what?
Get out and vote.
I am going to vote. I just made sure I was registered, which I am. I know where I'm going to vote.
I'm already voted.
Yes, but I'm going to be a true American. I'm going to vote on election day.
All right.
Okay? None of this early balloting bullshit. I'm going on election day to vote, and who I'm voting for, it's none of your effing business, America. So this was episode 19 of the Chomp Time podcast, which I dubbed Anything Goes, as you just listened to. Anything Goes. I'm Mike. That is Pops. Come on, Gators.
Get up and go.
Take care, everybody.